Canada's international study permit new rules, effective by mid-2025. Welcome to Travel Tree. This is your channel for all information about moving, traveling, and global opportunities. Are you thinking about starting a new life in Canada in 2025, or are you already living in Canada? If so, you've come to the right place. Canada has officially put a stop to new international study permits, and Indian students are feeling the largest impact. A shocking 31% drop in permits in just the first 3 months of 2025 is not a coincidence. This aligns with a wider crackdown initiated by Prime Minister Mark Carney. This crackdown includes increased financial barriers, stricter documentation requirements, and new quotas for each province. The previously open-door policy during the Trudeau era is now over. If you're planning to study in Canada, it's essential to understand how these changes will affect you. If you're interested in this topic, please watch the video until the end to get all the details. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell to receive updates. Shocking statistics. The recent changes have greatly affected Canada's international education sector. New data from Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, shows that only 30,640 Indian students received study permits from January to March 2025. This is a significant drop from 44,295 during the same time frame in 2024, which represents a 31% decline. Indian applicants, who used to dominate Canada's study visa system, are now being pushed aside. This isn't just a random change, it shows a clear shift in policy direction. For over a decade, Indian students have been the foundation of Canada's international student community. In 2023, they held more than 278,000 study permits out of a total of 681,155 issued worldwide. However, this number dropped sharply to just 188,465 by 2024 and is now decreasing even more quickly. National impact. These changes do not only affect Indian students. According to IRCC data, there has been a 21% drop in total study permits issued across Canada in the first quarter of 2025, with only 96,500 permits granted compared to 121,070 the previous year. The message is clear: Canada is cutting back on international students. This strategic reduction is considered necessary rather than a temporary issue. Officials believe that the very high permit numbers from 2023 are no longer sustainable, especially given the increasing demands on housing, healthcare, and urban infrastructure. Mark Carney's government is making corrections, and students are caught in the middle of these changes. New population cap regulations. The main reason for this crackdown is Prime Minister Mark Carney's new rules for controlling the population of temporary residents. Starting in mid-2025, Canada will limit the total number of temporary residents to just 5% of its total population by 2027. With Canada's population around 40 million, this means that there can be no more than 2 million temporary residents, including international students, foreign workers, asylum seekers, and refugees. Carney believes this is necessary to restore balance, especially in response to overcrowded hospitals, busy transit systems, and a growing housing crisis in major cities. As a result, all temporary visa programs, including study permits, are now being closely monitored and systematically reduced. Study permit caps and provincial quotas. For the year 2025, Canada has set the national study permit cap at 437,000, which is a decrease from 485,000 in 2024, representing a 10% reduction. This change is not just a one-time adjustment. Officials have indicated that this cap may stay the same or even decrease in the coming years. Furthermore, this limit is not the same for every province. Each province now has its own quotas, which allows them to control how many students can come in and manage their admission processes. This change has already caused slower processing times and made the application process more complicated for students. New financial requirements. As of January 1, 2024, Canada has doubled the financial proof requirement for international students, raising it from $10,000 to $20,635. The IRCC claims that this is meant to ensure that students have enough money to live in Canada. While this may sound reasonable, critics argue that it puts extra pressure on low-income applicants from countries like India, Nigeria, and the Philippines, who are among the largest groups of international students. The rising living costs, particularly in cities like Vancouver and Toronto, now make it very hard for middle and lower-income families to apply. Because of this, many people are starting to look into studying in countries like Germany, Australia, and Ireland, where tuition is either cheaper or subsidized. Combating fraudulent institutions. To address the issue of fake colleges and dishonest agents offering false acceptance letters, the IRCC put a new verification process in place in December 2023. Every designated learning institution, DLI, must now verify acceptance letters digitally before a student study permit application can be considered. This new rule aims to eliminate fake documents and unlicensed recruiters. However, it also adds another layer of bureaucracy, making the application process longer and more stringent, which results in a higher number of rejections, especially for applicants from lesser-known colleges. Prospective students are therefore advised to select reputable institutions and work only with licensed immigration consultants to improve their chances of getting approved. Infrastructure strain and government responses. The reality of these changes reflects a significant issue: Canada's infrastructure is under severe stress. A report from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, CMHC, in 2024 revealed that vacancy rates in university towns have dropped to under 2%, while rental prices have risen by 10% to 15% per year. Mayors from cities like Toronto, Montreal, and Calgary have expressed concerns that the high number of international students is increasing rental costs and straining public services, from walk-in clinics to public transportation systems. Canada's international education plan may have worked well when student numbers were lower, but with more than 800,000 temporary residents arriving each year, the system is overwhelmed. In response, the government is scaling back the number of incoming students, raising admission standards, and putting more responsibility on provinces and post-secondary institutions. Economic consequences for Canadian universities. As the federal government tightens its regulations, Canadian universities and colleges are getting ready for serious economic challenges. International students usually pay 3 to 5 times the amount in tuition compared to domestic students, making their enrollment crucial for the survival of many institutions. It is estimated that a loss of about $4 billion in tuition revenue could affect the post-secondary sector in 2025 alone. Smaller colleges, especially those in rural and suburban areas, are particularly at risk of layoffs, closures, or program cuts. Some universities are already lobbying Ottawa for financial help or exceptions, warning that fewer students will lead to lower research funding, fewer jobs, and decreased campus activity overall. Recommendations for international students. If you still want to study in Canada, you can still make it happen, but you need to be smart about it. Here are 5 key recommendations to help international students living in Canada. 1. Plan ahead. Start your preparations early by researching study programs and understanding the specific requirements for your chosen province. 2. Ensure financial preparedness. Make sure you have the necessary financial documentation to prove that you can support yourself while studying in Canada. 3. Choose reputable institutions. Select well-known and respected educational institutions to avoid any issues with fraudulent colleges. Check the institution's designation to ensure it's a designated learning institution, DLI. 4th, work with licensed consultants. Collaborate with licensed immigration consultants who can guide you through the application process and help avoid any scams. 5. Explore alternate pathways. Consider alternative study routes, such as exchange programs or dual degree options, which might offer different advantages compared to regular study permits. Conclusion: a new era for international students. In conclusion, Canada's new strategy for international students is not about shutting the door on opportunities, Instead, it aims to control the flow of temporary residents. The 31% decrease in Indian study permits is part of a larger recalibration to restore balance within housing, healthcare, and infrastructure. As Mark Carney's government imposes a 5% cap on the population of temporary residents, the message to students is clear: be prepared, be honest, and be financially ready. Opportunities in Canada still exist, but they will only be available to those who can meet the new, stricter requirements. The door remains open, but it may not be wide for everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Travel Tree, like our content, and share it with friends and family. Stay tuned with us for the latest news on Canada's immigration updates. What do you think about the current immigration delays in Canada? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates.